Hello and welcome to another Dreamforge video. I'm Aeon, the lead narrative writer and system designer for Dreamforge. I'm here along with Eli today. And today's topic of discussion is going to be about classes in Dreamforge. Much like any RPG, classes are the bedrock of most of the game's core combat and interplay systems. And I'm just realizing now that interplay might not be the accurate word here. Regardless, what are classes? Your class dictates your primary defining skills, features, abilities, and potential, from being a strategist who commands the battlefield, a weaver of the arcane arts, or maybe you like making illegal mobile suits and weapons and the authorities haven't caught up to you yet. Anyways, your class provides you with a variety of choices as you adventure and explore, growing your character as you level up from the experiences and trials you'll face within them. Though do avoid perishing in an untimely fate as it kind of stifles your leveling and progress. And I hear it's pretty painful as well. When you make your wanderer, you'll have an important decision to make, as each class is like its own dish or meal, with different entrees, main courses, and a variety of options and additions to add within them. Strap in for the food puns today, folks. I haven't eaten today, and if I'm gonna suffer, you're gonna suffer with me. Speaking more on that variant, there's a wide variety of classes that people will fall in with. Many variants past the initial name as well, which one can find their own speciality within. You have to evaluate between the variety and your particular kinds of combat styles and features, befitting the particular flavor you're trying to make, class you want to play. Well, the core of the class is like the steak or the grilled chicken breast. The core of each class has their own primary focus, towards combat, downtime activities, skills, and other things. However, outside of those core class features, there are things that allow you to specialize and differentiate yourself further within that class. They are called subclasses. And they grant a speciality based on certain ideas, groups, and abilities, which takes the class into a new direction, expanding on its core, or maybe something even further, potentially even linking into other classes.
For instance, when looking at the Soul Diver, a powerful spellcaster that wields the power of the elements to cast their spells. The Channeler subclass expands this identity by allowing you to select more elements to channel and more spells to cast. The bonuses provided are based on attuning to the energy in your current environment and receiving its power through elemental boons and enhanced skills. The stronger you grow, the greater the bonuses to both your spellcasting ability and your ability to draw more power from your environment. There are several subclasses that break the general mold or enhance upon the existing idea of a class in a way unlike others. When looking at the Armitage subclass for the Soul Diver, this subclass definitely changes the overall identity you will have when playing as a spellcaster. While this subclass does enhance your spellcasting ability, it does so in a way that a more traditional spellcaster may not look to do. The spells you receive are more related to fighting on the front lines, like a warrior rather than a spellcaster. The bonuses you receive help you in regard to being more warrior-like, with the ability to summon weapons of soul energy, and unique abilities centered around said weapons, and other weapons you may happen to come across.
Outside of your classes and subclasses, there is one primary seasoning, criteria, to differentiate the classes. This also might help you with your initial decision when you're trying to make your wanderer, so listen ahead. Our classes are broken up into core types, you could call it: martial, partial channelers, and full channelers. Martial classes focus on weapons, equipment, technology, and in a lot of ways giving you features to make you almost seem like a super creature. Characteristics that enhance your protection and others that are more on a, mundane basis, or as mundane as it can get. It goes without saying that they are considered often the martial experts within the party. They would be your tacticians, blast gladiators, and martial artists. Partial channelers utilize a mix of martial prowess or technological prowess as well, with soul energy manipulation. This would be your better forge casters, shadow reavers, and soul warriors. A bit of a mix of casting and martial, if you will. And the last is full channelers of full chasters. Yes, chasters. That's what I meant to say. Full casters. They're the last kind of class. It focuses on casting spells, channeling various effects from the soul domains, wielding powers of an elemental variety, and even some classes that bend the fabric of causality to their whims. This would be your mystics, guardians, Taoists, and soul divers. A key thing to note about each type of these core types, I don't know why I said it that way, is that each has an inclination towards a specific type of role or series of roles, be it support, healing, crowd control, etc. And in most cases, classes can fulfill multiple roles, like I said, despite what their general core is built towards. There are other special equipment and properties and abilities, which can also affect certain class types over others. But something that will be said obviously anyway, your choices are wide and expand further the more you level up in your class and explore the world and environment. Look ahead slightly and see what you might want to go into.
Currently, there are 10 playable classes in Dreamforge, with more on the horizon and mentioned in lore. As your journey takes you to new places and you meet new people, you will undoubtedly find more. Here's a brief summary for every class currently in the game. We will have dedicated videos around some of them soon and in the future. For martial classes, you'll have the choice to select from the following. Blast Gladiator, a tank class that focuses on a mix of medium-range sharpshooting and close-up melee combat. They tend to use a mix of small AoE attacks and single targeting abilities to blast away their foes with deadly explosions. While they blast away, they dare their foes to come closer with their call to battle. Martial Artist, a class that focuses on maneuvers and style. Using this style allows for customizable maneuvers to create a variety of options, whether it's to focus on fighting a strong single target or bouncing between a bunch of smaller targets one by one. Either way, they fight on the front lines to use devastating finishers to intimidate their foes and charm their fans. Tactician, a tank class that leads their allies in the battle with their wide range of combat focus. They maintain order on the battlefield and support their team with their personalized fighting style consisting of unique maneuvers and abilities that can be mixed together or focused on individually. They know that individual power can be noteworthy, but the power of many is not something to be trifled with.
For half-channelers, you have the Forgecaster, a class which focuses as much on the tech as it does magic. Using their profession knowledge in smithing, they can use creativity in their Forgecast to find ways to aid themselves and their allies, be it in fighting or the forge. Next is the Shadow Reaver, a dark and deadly class that uses their connection to the dark forces of an elemental or causal nature to summon a shadow being from a memento linked to their very soul. Along with this shadow avatar, they can draw aid through casting spells of both a dark and divine inclination and slice their way with melee proficiency to take down large foes and bunched up small fries. The last of the half-channelers here is the Soul Warrior, a versatile class that uses their knowledge of soul energy to focus on one or more source elements as it's tied to their soul. Depending on what element they specialize in, they may thrive as a heavy up-close fighter that strengthens their attacking power and defenses ability, using their soul energy to amplify different effects and cast certain types of spells. Additionally, they could also go into healing or support, focusing on being a stalwart defender, or even specializing in attacking different types of creatures' souls directly. And now we have our full channelers. Our first two are very similar in certain ways, in that they're both more support-centered classes, though they do have some specialities to differentiate them. The Guardian is a class that specializes in energy shield generation and supporting abilities through the use of magic and tech. While doing this, they gradually build up a powerful telepathic, arcane-like energy called Aura Focus. They use to channel special effects and enhance and envelop other creatures. Along with this, they possess an implant or causal or psionic control, allowing them to manipulate flying devices called shards. They can use these to attack single targets or attach them to themselves or other allies, giving them a passive or active support. Then we have Mystic, a class that utilizes the power of the planet itself, channeling spiritual energy from themselves and the ley lines that flow like blood through the body of the planet. They aid their party in battle through healing and temporary buffs, and use their connection to the ley lines to build up mystical charges, using the wrath of the mystical energy they wield to keep their allies alive both during and after combat, as well as keeping the planet safe from would-be corruption.
Soul Diver, a powerful spellcaster class that focuses on utilizing one or more of the core elements to deal devastating damage to single targets as well as small and large area of effects. They can quickly alter their spells in different ways during the middle of combat to deal with a variety of situations other casters may have a harder time dealing with. While not always having the widest selection of spells to cast compared to other full casters, their knowledge and discipline of soul energy not only covers for this minor hindrance, but many would say it sets them apart from other spellcasters and puts them in a class of their own. Taoist, a tricky spellcaster that uses their intelligence to study the building blocks of spells to learn more than any other spellcasting class. When their heads start to fill with the many spells they have learned, they turn to scrolls and tomes to continue learning and applying themselves in unique ways. With this ability, they have the choice to learn all the spells they come across, so that they can have a spell for any situation they may face. With knowledge on your side, anything's possible.
There were a few notable class features that we wanted to mention before we go. There's a set of similar kinds of features shared in a few classes. Two of them we're mentioning today are tank features and build-up mechanics. Tank abilities effectively allow you to take the primary ire of a few targets, making them focus on you over other members of the party, or take significant debuffs if they do not do that. Along with this, you're normally granted some form of healing, protection, or resilience to supplement the additional attention you've now brought on yourself. The original idea we had for making these abilities, seen currently on the Tactician and Blast Gladiator class, was intended to give a true tank or protection role, and as an option to certain classes, especially some martials, similar to what's seen in a lot of RPGs and MMOs. Though they can be used outside of their primary focus of tanking, if you're just looking for some buffs to your defense, we hope it encourages strategy and a feeling of being more like the wall that keeps the party safe, so to speak. Now on to our other special class feature called Build-Up Mechanic. Currently in Dreamforge, there are two classes which have a feature that falls under the Build-Up Mechanic label. It also helps that they are similar to each other for the sake of speaking about them today. During combat alone, you can actively use your action or joint action to generate a build-up or charge, which has some form of usage that can be used in a variety of abilities later. You can not only use this multiple times in a single turn, but there are some aspects and subclass features which give you other ways to generate this charge or new abilities to spend them on. All changes subside after a certain amount of time out of combat, so use them while you can. The main idea with build-up mechanics was to provide something more engaging to contend with as a healer or support class that wasn't always focused on just channeling the same healing spell every turn. This feature serves to give you a primary action which can flow seamlessly with your turn to give you access to a variety of options which don't drain your soul energy necessarily, and still give you a way to contribute in a unique and engaging way to the party. Mind you, you can still play these classes mostly effectively even without using the build-up mechanic, though you would be missing out on a core function of the class, and a fun aspect of the experience that sets it apart from other traditional healing and supports. And always remember to think the healers, as much like the claw, the white mage decides who stays and who goes.
Whether you want to be a gun-toting swashbuckler, a mystical channeler of the ley lines and planet, some combination of the two, or something completely different, be sure to have an idea of what you want and read the class summary at the beginning of each. While the class section does not dictate everything about the identity of your character, it is a major chunk that requires some thought.
With that there, we'd like to thank you all for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe and share us around, as we always are looking to grow the community. It would help us a lot, or a great deal, if you followed us and our Kickstarter page and checked out our Linktree as well. There on the Linktree and such, you can connect to our various socials, checking our art and various project updates, things like Twitter, Insta, and Blue Sky, and other places. If you want to try the game yourselves, or just stop by and say hi, you can join our Discord. You can check out the rest of the channel for more information on Dreamforge, whether it be us talking about the development of the project or us playing Dreamforge itself. Stay tuned, speaking of that, for our playthrough of the Cursed Sea Gem, the first story module and campaign for Dreamforge. Most of these things are also linked in the description box below. And with that, we hope to see you in the future, and again, thank you all for watching. See you soon.